Pergamon Acropolis. The ancient city of Pergamon is the city where the steepest Hellenistic theater of Anatolia is located, one of the longest water systems of the Roman period, the largest altar in Anatolia, where the first bazaar laws were implemented, and whose people are one of the first 7 church communities mentioned in the Bible. It also hosts Turkey's first excavation museum. Actually, there are many more features we can say about this city. Located at an altitude of 330 meters, the city rises on a hill consisting of volcanic andesite rocks. The view of the city from here also looks magnificent. The city, whose ancient name was Pergamon, is today named Bergama, inspired by this name. Bergama, a district of Izmir, is located approximately 100 kilometers away from Izmir. The name of the city of Pergamon is mentioned for the first time in written documents at the beginning of the 4th century BC. So what does Pergamon mean? Pergamon is mentioned in different meanings in different sources. In some sources it is said to mean high place, in other sources it means steep rock. There have been many bloody wars in the history of the region. We will talk about what remains of this ancient city rather than the outcome of these wars. But we can only say this: in 334 BC, Alexander the Great defeated the Persian Emperor Darius and annexed Pergamon and its surroundings. Later, as we said, after the death of Alexander the Great, many bloody wars occurred. We visited many parts of the ancient city of Pergamon. However, there are many more places to visit here. Since this month of the year was quite hot, it was a beautiful yet tiring visit. There are 3 sections in the Acropolis. There are palaces, temples, and cisterns at the highest elevations. The king and his family, the city's notables, intellectuals, clergy, and commanders lived here. There were temples and educational institutions in the middle city. The lower part of the city was the settlement where people lived and market shopping took place. It is estimated that 25,000 to 4,000 people lived in the city during the Hellenistic period. It was estimated that the population reached around 8,000 during the Roman period. The Sanctuary of Athena. Athena Sanctuary is the oldest temple in Pergamon. It is estimated that it was built in the 4th century BC. It is connected to the theater by a very steep staircase. Only the foundations and floor coverings have survived from this structure. There are ruins of a round pedestal in a place in the middle of the Athena Sanctuary. It is estimated that there were statues of gods on this pedestal during the Hellenistic period. It is estimated that during the Roman period there was a statue of Emperor Augustus on the pedestal. In this structure, besides Athena, Zeus was also worshipped. It is estimated that there were columns on the long and short sides of the building. However, as we said, these have not survived to the present day. The view of the city from above is magnificent, and below is one of the important amphitheaters of Anatolia. Of course, you'll see signs warning you not to get too close to the edge. It's a really steep building, especially the transition to the theater part. Those who know the region say that visiting Pergamon in spring would be a better time to be able to visit more areas. Pergamon Theater. The theater located near, or rather below, the sanctuary of Athena is the steepest Hellenistic theater in Anatolia. This very steep theater has a steepness of more than 45 degrees. The theater, which had a seating capacity of approximately 10,000 people, had 80 steps. Since there were ways to move around between the rows of steps, the rows of seats were divided into 3. Civil servants and senior executives were sitting in the front rows. While the rows were marble, the back steps were built of andesite stone, but the restoration was made of concrete. Unfortunately, this is the form it has reached today. The view of the city from the top of the theater is worth seeing. The Sanctuary of Trajan. As you move from the edge of the hill towards the walls, you come across the Sanctuary of Trajan, one of the most magnificent structures of the Acropolis. Trajan reigned between 98 to 117 AD. Since the temple could not be completed, another Roman emperor, Hadrian, came to the throne. After Trajan between 117 to 138 AD, these two Roman emperors were deified and worshipped. A large terrace was needed for the construction of this temple in the Acropolis, but due to lack of space, the terrace was expanded over the arches. There are 6 columns on the short side of the temple and 10 columns on the long side. Since it is made of white marble on the upper terrace of the Acropolis, it has a magnificent view when viewed from Bergama. The total height of the temple is around 18 meters. The remaining pieces of the statues of the emperors we mentioned were unearthed during the excavations. It is estimated that the temple was excavated between 1883 and 1885. According to this estimate, the temple was destroyed by a great earthquake. From the terrace in front of the temple, you can see the audience rows and arches of one of the few remaining amphitheaters in Turkey. There are many archaeological sites to see in Bergama. We hope we can come here again and visit other places.